really happy. Really happy to have you here.
I'm
With me.
excited. I'm excited as well.
Always so nice.
By the way, this is actually my first podcast. Should we call this a podcast?
The what? The first
Should
podcast.
we call this a podcast? Yeah?
Yeah, it's a conversation that then will be published in the podcast. Yes.
So this is my first podcast, and I'm actually having it with Jeannette.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank you so much.
much.
You are
Thank you for
love.
this opportunity.
No, it's for us to co-create. It's for us to speak, to share from the heart with everything you are, because I've been seeing your posts, and they're really, really wholehearted and very, very full of wisdom, beautiful wisdom that touches the heart. Yes. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for who you are and what you are creating.
Thank you very much, Jeannette. Well, should I take it uh, from how I actually got to, this
Yes.
idea of
Yes.
sharing the 4 pillars and 6 ingredients?
That would be nice. So for me to know it, for me and the audience, but for me, since you and me are co-creating today, so to really know about who
All
you
right.
are. Yes.
Yeah. So let me start with my name. My name is Akin Onifade. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
the the big apple of Africa, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 pillars and 6 ingredients was something that was born out of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've always been this very curious individual, right from, I would say, my teenage years. I've been very, very observant, you know, with the way people behave, just human behavior in general.
Yes.
I'm not that kind of person who jumps into conversation. Rather, I'm the person who stands back and watch other people speak, right?
Yes.
Um, to some extent, it I thought it was more or less like a flaw at first, because I usually feel, why am I just sitting at the sideline when I can just join this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
then again, I would just think to myself, you know what? If I don't have anything to contribute, why should I join the conversation? I should just
Mm-hmm.
stand back, watch other people speak. And over the years, in my teenage to my adulthood, doing that has actually made me question a lot of things, about, you know, human behavior, about life in general.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after college, I was one of those few people that said, you know what, I'm not going to pick up a book to read again.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you can hear me clearly, right? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you
Right.
very well. Thank you.
So I told myself, even the billboards on the street, I'm not going to have a sneak peek to read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But over time, I just had this, you know, maybe I can call it epiphany, where I was drawn by the wisdoms of different kind of books.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cousin who has a library in his home, and anytime I just opened that library, I just felt at ease. I felt
Mm-hmm.
at home,
Mm-hmm.
right? Seeing different books in a bookshelf, and I know these are written by people who have spent years, dedicated years, and put out their experience or skills in just a
Yes.
book that you can read in just few days or few hours,
Yes.
right? And one of those books that stood out to me was The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen
Mm-hmm.
Lakiani.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that book.
Yes, I read it. I read it about 3 or 4 years ago. Yes. Yes.
An amazing book. It
Very
was
nice.
it was an eye opener for me. It gave me that permission. It gave me that permission to just, you know, question everything I actually thought I believed growing
Mm-hmm.
up, from culture to different aspects of how I was being brought up,
Yeah.
right? I just
Mm.
felt there's actually more to all of this than just, being stuck to one particular group, being stuck to one particular culture, right? Whether it is, I come from a background or a country where there are so many tribes,
Yes.
right? There
Yes.
are so many culture, and there are so many religious groups as well.
Yes.
And I've always felt more disconnected than I should, because I think our first responsibility should be as humans, right? We're born humans. We are not necessarily, attached from wherever we came from by a particular religion or culture.
Yes.
And the first responsibility that we should hold to ourselves is as human beings,
Yes.
right? So
Yes. Mhm.
when I read The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, it just literally, removed removed that, how will I put it now? It removed that blinders I think I've been wearing for years, and gave me the permission give me the permission slip to say, you know what, there's actually more to life than all of this. Now, there is a particular chapter in The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. It is the 6 phases of meditation,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So the 6 phases of meditation has a different, it has a, it's not a different, it's a similar process to how I engineered or designed um, the 4 pillars and 6 ingredients over time. But during the time I read the book, I just thought, you know what, um, this is a beautiful way of expressing my spirituality. I just felt this type of meditation is what suits my personality. It's not being attached to a particular group, going on a particular day to, worship. I mean, I'm not saying it's actually a bad thing to do,
No.
but I just felt there is more to, life than just, attaching to a particular group, right?
Yes.
So for the next couple of years, the 6 phases of meditation was what I practiced.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't just jump straight to, designing my own kind of, structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So over time, it just came in slowly. It started with the 4 pillars, which is um, the 4 pillars: breath work, mindfulness, present moment,
Yes.
right? So when I started this meditation practice, it's it just felt natural.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this was at the backdrop of the 6 phases of meditation. It just felt natural, and I will start with this process whereby I just I'm just in the present moment, or perhaps breathwork practice, right? I
Yes.
just start this breathwork practice, and funny enough, I've evolved each of these processes
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
time. There's a particular how will I describe him, because I consider him a mentor now. I met him on LinkedIn, just like
Mm-hmm.
I met you.
Yeah.
Um,
Ah, nice. Yeah.
his name is Sobramani Sarodi. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if you're familiar with that name.
Yes. Yes, I am. I
So
am.
when I connected with him, he shared this particular booklet with me. He wrote that booklet. So when I saw that booklet, when I read that booklet, he had a particular type of breathwork practice that I just thought it was fascinating.
Okay.
It's a process whereby you take a deep breath, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you release those breaths in 3 stages,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in just 2 days of practicing that process, I just felt, you know what? I can't keep this to myself. I need to share it with, my audience on LinkedIn, to see the effect of this
Mm-hmm.
thing. But by the way, I'll have to go back to the 6 ingredients as well. I just explained how the 4 pillars
Yes. The
was
key.
brought about. The 6 ingredients actually came about. The 6 ingredients, by the way, is gratitude, self-love, self-forgiveness. I called those 3 internal reflection, right? Because you need to have this internal reflection,
Mm-hmm.
this internal analogy. What you speak to yourself
Yes.
is
Yes.
basically what you express to the world. So those are the 3 internal reflections. Then the external reflection, which makes up the other 3, is appreciation, compassion, and empathy. That
Mm-hmm.
is how you treat the world, right?
Yes.
That the external reflection. So basically, what came about the external reflection was a few years ago. I was running a business. It was in the financial sector. This business was I started it because I actually just enjoyed the idea of being in finance. Then I decided to quit my job and start this business by myself full time. Then it was a slow burn at first. The first 3 months there was no real traction. I wasn't getting any customers, right?
Yes.
But over time, the business grew to a point where I had about 7 employers. I had about 2 different territories I was controlling in terms of, handling finances for businesses and, customers. I was making over 7 figures in revenue every month.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 to 3 years into the business, the whole thing came crashing down,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
It was one of the pivotal moments of my life. Um it was a very dark and tough time for me,
Yes.
so to
Imagine.
speak.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very dark. So I had to, for the first 3 months after this whole thing happened, um, I had to reflect back on what um this actually meant,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no how you go through a certain thing in life, and no matter how stoic you think you are, no matter how um, peaceful you think you are internally, you are still going to feel the effect because we are all humans and we are
Yeah.
wired to be emotional,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Whether it is fear or anger, that emotional state is always going to come,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how you feel you can handle the whole situation. So
Yes.
it was a very pivotal moment in my life, and I had to reflect on what just happened. In the next 3 months, it was an uphill battle for me, where I, started reflecting on the next steps to take. But one thing I just need to point out is I would have probably not, been able to overcome all these challenges if I didn't have the support I had from friends and family,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Very
So
amazing.
this
Yeah.
is me telling you, look, it doesn't matter how you think you are practicing a particular type of meditation, or you have a particular type of resilience towards certain situation, you still need that support. that external support, and I'm happy I actually got that support on time. So after 3 months, when the whole thing happened, I had to go into this, internal state of mind where I started reflecting on, what had happened. Then the first thing that came to my mind was gratitude.
Yeah.
Because regardless of everything that happened, I just felt I'm waking up, I'm healed and healthy. I have friends and family who actually support me throughout this process. I'm breathing fresh air. I mean, the list goes on and on. But I realized the past 3 months, I've been waking up to this deep, saddened state of mind where I'm thinking, oh, my business is gone, right? I didn't have this, I was actually thinking in lack instead of abundance. To just put it in a simple, sentence. I was in lack instead of abundance. So I had to shift my mindset. So that was what came about the 6 ingredients. Then I started thinking in gratitude, because if I wanted to shift my mindset, I knew I need to stop thinking in lack. Stop thinking about the things I've lost, right? And start thinking about the things I actually have in the present moment. And it was just mind blowing when it just clicked like a light bulb, and I thought, wow, there's actually a lot,
everything. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Then from that stage, I thought, okay, this has happened. I'm actually grateful for everything that has happened. Regardless of what happened, I still have people that support me. I'm waking up every day, healed and healthy. I need to start showing more self-love to myself, right?
Yes.
So I thought, you know what? Despite the fact that, all these things have happened, there is a lot to be grateful for. And all these things I wake up to every day being grateful for started shaping my values, started shaping my passion, and it started shaping my goals in life. So I started seeing things differently, unlike before, when the whole business crumbled.
Yeah.
So I thought one of the limiting beliefs I had before was comparing myself with other people, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I felt now that my business is gone, I wonder what so and so person will be saying about me, that I'm a complete failure. But I thought to myself, look, I actually tried something, right? I took the risk, and this was a business I actually started um, against everyone's wish, because no one actually wanted me to embark on this journey. But I did it anyways, right? Even though I reached a certain level that I was happy and it crashed and burned, I'm happy I got to that level, where it brought me joy and satisfaction. The fact that I actually did what I wanted,
Yes.
right, brought me a lot of joy and satisfaction. So I don't need to compare myself with anyone.
No.
Why? Because I'm on a different path.
Yes,
I'm on
it's
a
your path.
different
Yes.
journey. Exactly. Right? There's no point, comparing myself with someone who is on a completely different path and journey.
Yes.
We all have, we are all unique beings.
Yes.
As
Beautifully
Professor
unique.
Green rightly say, we are all unique in our different ways, right?
Yes.
So I started building my self-love by, by not comparing myself to any other person and realizing I'm a unique being. And then it progressed again to, the whole idea of people pleasing, right? Because
Yeah.
I had to realize that, look, you are enough as you are. You don't need to, there are some things you just need to set certain boundaries on. And all these things came about as a result of the things I've observed about myself,
Yes,
right?
beautiful. Yes.
Me comparing myself with people, me not being telling myself I'm not enough, you
Mm-hmm.
know, being a people pleaser. These were things that I realized I've been doing over the years, and it had to change. So
Yes.
self-love was that point where I had to, that next level, I had to take the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then came self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness to me is, trying to tell myself, look, perhaps most of the things you are going through right now might not necessarily be your fault, although that's not an excuse to, do the right thing, right? It might not necessarily be your fault in the sense that there's this study I recently discovered by Columbia University professor
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mario Bouquet. She
Mm-hmm.
said most of the trauma uh, that we have that is stored in our body can actually be traced from between 7 to 14 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah,
can you just imagine that?
very
So
well.
we have traumas that are stored in our body
Yes.
that might not necessarily be our own fault, right? So the way we behave, I just had to have a different perspective and try to understand and be more kind and forgiving to myself. That was what came about self-forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been basically too hard on myself
Yeah.
when, the whole thing came crashing down. That, you know what, you need to give yourself a break. You did try your best,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to reflect on where this fear or anger is actually coming. It might not necessarily be yours, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
might have been passed on from, one generation to another based on their own beliefs and fears. You
Yes.
don't have to let that be your own.
No.
So those are the internal reflection I had to work with. And by the way, I'm still working on them. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not an easy process. I
Mm.
think being human is always going to be an ongoing process to, evolve, to learn. We are never going to get to a point of mastery. That is what I personally
Yeah.
we need to always continue, learning. That continuous learning must always be
Yes.
there. In the external reflection, um, I thought, you know what, if I have this mindset, then it is important to share it, you know, with the world as well. Then appreciation came about, right? I thought, you know what, during the time I was running my business successfully, um, there was one thing that I did that I felt stood out. I was that person, regardless of your age, regardless of your status, regardless of your, y- your financial capabilities, I always give that respect to everyone.
Yes.
Whether it is
Mm.
times when I'm supposed to say thank you, whether it is times when I'm supposed to say well done to my staff,
Mm-hmm.
to say thank you to my customers and clients. I just made an effort to do those things sincerely.
Yeah.
And I felt it came back with this ripple effect when I lost my business. It came back with this ripple effect where people showed solidarity, were more empathetic,
Yeah.
which was very surprising to me because
Yes.
I didn't think this is something that was possible. So I felt, you know what, I need to continue, portraying this kind of behavior to people. Appreciation had to be at the top of my list anytime, having, whether it is conversations or, you know, even to strangers. It
Yes.
doesn't necessarily have to be, people I know personally or my loved ones or friends, right? So I just told myself, you know what? anytime I wake up in the morning, aside the fact that I do my usual morning routines, if I'm going to engage with people, the first thing on my mind is going to be appreciation, right? I'm going
Yes.
to find one simple way to appreciate anyone that just, I come in contact with. And
Yes.
it has been, I mean, I've been practicing this exercise for the past 2 years now, and it has been mind blowing because now it has been more intentional, right? With deliberate practice, I've been seeing a lot of results. And then taking it up a notch from appreciation is compassion, because this is a process whereby you are able to express generosity, right? And express, kindness to people, whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, right? This is taking appreciation up a notch to another level where you genuinely, show love and compassion to people,
Yes.
right? And it does not have to be grandeur. It does not have to
No.
be something huge. Like I said, if you are not in that financial capacity to help someone who is in need of it, you can always be that person who just sits and have an active listening conversation with that person, right? Just be there for that person.
Yes.
It does not necessarily have to, be you being financially capable. It could be any other means whatsoever. And then
Yes.
the third aspect of this is empathy, showing empathy. I think personally, this is the most challenging, challenging thing for me to do, because you are trying to put yourself in other people's shoes,
Yes.
and it can be very challenging, especially if you have not probably experienced what a certain person is going through. Maybe like the loss of a loved one, for instance. How do you show empathy to someone like that when you've not personally lost someone yourself?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I think it is something I try to be very cautious of. At the same time, I'm always trying to do my very best to, to be that person who is empathetic. I have a friend who lost his parents in the space of just 1 year.
No.
Yes, in the space of 1 year, lost his parents. And I just thought this could have actually been me. What is the best way to show up for this person? And I made it an intentional thing to, at least every weekend, call this person and say hi. I won't
Nice.
necessarily bring up the fact that he lost his parents, but I'll just, whenever I have a conversation with him, I try to make him laugh and,
Yeah.
just bring a smile to his face. That
Yeah.
alone, I believe I'm doing perhaps a good job in showing empathy in the best possible way I think I can. So that is that about the six ingredients. Then I thought, you know what? I can't keep this to myself. I would like to share this with the world and see what people think or feel about it.
Yes, I think I feel it very, very potent, very
Mm,
powerful, because it's a way to summarize um, the power we have within, the potential
mm,
we have within to show it to the world and to be it. It's a very nice yes overview of what you experience, what I experienced, what you have experienced, and very simple, very nice and simple overview of what it really is, what it's really important to look at when you are living your life, no, from the inside out. And one of the the baseline in what you were explaining before, the baseline in reality is the observation of oneself. Through the observation is when we can apply all those ingredients and the principles, because we are observing ourselves and we are living from the inside out, from the heart to the world. And so when I read them and I see your posts, they're full of wisdom. Also, they're very, I think, very inspirational, because whenever you do something that comes from your own experience, from your living, and you are showing it to others because you are living it also, you have lived it and you are still living it, that is very powerful and empowering for others. And when you read it, it inspires, because it's for you, because you are the example of what you want to see in the world, no? And that's for me a true leader. You are sharing with others what you have experienced, that it's growing you, it's supporting you, it's expanding you, and you know it serves others.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And you know it with your heart. And that's why you're so resilient in sharing it, because you know it with your heart. And when you know it with your heart, you are also giving it with your heart, and you are inspiring with your heart. And that's very potent, very powerful.
Indeed. Indeed. I mean, the past few days have been powerful, just like you put it, right? It has actually been powerful. Over the past one year and a half, I've actually been repurposing this particular, principles. I actually started off with WhatsApp. My contacts on WhatsApp, I sent them one of these principles once every month, right? In fact, the old 10 principles actually ended this very month of October, right?
Yes.
So this month of October will mark the 10th time I'll be sharing this particular 4 pillars and 6 ingredients with my WhatsApp contact, right? Because I just shared it one every month.
Yes.
And for every time that I repurposed it, I realized, okay, the first time I actually repurposed it was for my Instagram audience. This was sometime last year, right?
Yes.
And each time I actually, repurpose it, I learned something new.
Yes, it's incredible. Yes, I love that.
I learned something new because I have to go through a process whereby I do a certain research, I do a certain study, I deliberately practice it in different ways and see which one works best for me, right? For the process I did, I posted the 4 pillars and 6 ingredients on Instagram, was quite different from the process I did for WhatsApp. And it is still quite different from the process I did with LinkedIn. And with LinkedIn, it has been remarkable because I realized for the past 1.5 years that I've been, continually practicing these things, I realized this is the first time I'm actually seeing the effects of compound effect take place. Because the kind of reaction, the kind of engagement I've been getting, right? I've learned more from it than every other places platforms I've used to repurpose it. So it just gave me that validation that, you know what, you're on the right path, and just look at how far you've come from the space of just 1.5 years. You've gained a lot mentally, you've gained a lot spiritually, you've gained a lot physically as well.
Yes.
So that is what I've been trying to tell myself for the past couple of days. And that is why very resilient in
Mm-hmm.
sharing this, to the world, that what, people need to see this, even
Yes.
if um even if they don't, because there's actually a plot twist to this whole six ingredients. Because I tell people, what, the same way the six phases of meditation by Vishen Lakiani opened my
Mm-hmm.
eyes to a different path. The four pillars and six ingredients is designed to do the same thing.
Yes.
You are not meant to hold it as a rigid principle or law
No.
to
No.
abide by. While the four pillars might actually guide your meditation process, I feel it is in everyone's um interest to find whatever ingredient they want to add to that pillar. You
Yes.
don't have to, stick with the one I
No.
actually chose,
Yes.
right? You can
Yes.
design your own, probably based on, the phase you are in your life right now, whatever you are going through. Like I said, the six ingredients was born out of the fact that I just went through a rough path with my business that just, crashed and burned,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
For you, it can be for something else entirely,
Yes.
right? So even if you go through the four pillars and six ingredients that I designed, over time, my hope and my wish is that, people design their own
Mm-hmm.
ingredient,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And make that a part of their life.
Yes. It's like a baseline. It's what I always say, in reality, you can read books and you can listen to gurus, or you can to anyone, but the important thing is that you take in what serves you in your way. No, you said it before. We are unique, and as we are unique, the way we experience things is unique, and the way we take in and what serves us is unique, and the way we translate what we read is unique. So I love it because it's a guideline. That's the four pillars and the six ingredients are a guideline for you to look inside, for you to practice. I always say it's explore, experience, and practice. And when you
Mm.
practice, you will see more about yourself and you will apply it the way that serves you. No? And it might be like
Love
you're
that.
saying, I'm cooking and I'm cooking, I don't know, a cake. And in the cake, instead of putting white sugar, I'm putting coconut sugar.
Mm.
No, because the coconut sugar is good for me. The white sugar I don't like, and it's not good
You
for
don't
me.
like it.
So
Yeah.
it's not serving me. So the same what you're saying, no, I take it as a guideline. I explore it, I experience it, I practice it, and I say, okay, let's change it with the coconut sugar, and
Mm.
that will be good for me. But it's beautiful because it's a piece of wisdom. It's a beautiful piece of wisdom that we can take in and we can transform for our uniqueness, no, for our being.
Absolutely.
Yes, and then you have highlighted that it's your experience, you're giving it to others, and also what you were experiencing the last days with LinkedIn. For me, a true leader, and you are one. For me, a true leader is, well, it's about love, uniqueness, and co-creation, no? And the co-creation is the giving and the receiving in harmony. So we need, and I think the whole world, but when we give, we want to receive,
Mm.
but not receive material, nothing. We want to, when we nurture, we want to get nurtured because we are, what you said before, we are a student as we are a teacher. No, when we are a teacher, we are a student. We don't want to be a teacher and that's it. We want to be a student because we are co-creating something, we are giving, and we want to also expand with what we are giving. So we want to get nurtured to continue growing and continue learning. And you also said it, no? We are here. You are continue studying and growing. It's human, no? For us to continue every day, just continue. And it's not that we get tired of learning. No, we
Yeah.
love learning. We love to grow.
I enjoy learning. I
Yes,
enjoy learning.
yes, we are curious because we know we don't know anything. So it's so
Exactly.
beautiful to at least grow a little bit more in what we are able to grow with the experiences we collect. And what you are expressing with the 4 pillars and the 6 ingredients, it's this beauty, your uniqueness, your wisdom that is serving others. It's serving others because of your words or because of your what you are reflecting of what you have learned, and we are able to take it in and experience it in our shoes. That's something also that I always say, that true leader, and I love that you mention it and you have written it, is that I walk my shoes, you walk yours, no? And
Mm.
I can never expect you something from you because I am walking my shoes. So I will never, ever be able to see how you walk your shoes because everything will be seen from my shoes, no? So
Exactly.
there's the respect. There's the respect towards the others and the empathy in trying to place ourselves there, but knowing it's not our shoes.
Exactly. I mean, basically, that is why we need to be more kind,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, and forgiving of
Yes.
ourselves and others,
Yeah.
because we really don't know what anyone is going through.
No.
We absolutely don't know, right?
No.
It's very difficult to put yourself in other people's shoes. We just have to um, perhaps look at the situation and maybe try to remember when you felt that particular way. And if you haven't, the
Yeah.
best you can do is to, be more appreciative, is to be more compassionate, sincerely,
Yes.
sincerely
Sincerely.
more appreciative and compassionate, right? But um, you can definitely not put yourself in that people's shoe,
No,
no.
and another important ingredient, which I love and I explore,
Please
experience, and practice,
tell me.
it's living in the now, because
Mm,
that's so powerful. And living in the now, I think
sorry,
encompasses
sorry
everything
to
else, no?
cut you short.
Huh?
Have you read The Power of Now?
Yeah, many
Eckhart
years ago,
Tolle.
I think twice, but about 10 years ago or 15. Yes.
All
Yeah, I
right,
loved
please
it.
continue.
Yes. But in the experiencing today, the power of the being in the now, the power of the now is really expectations disappear because you're here. So your mind is not in the back and it's not in the front, you're here. And with that, also the empathy towards others increases because you are in the now with your heart. You are exploring and observing, and you are here now sharing with others, open-hearted, because when you're in the now, you're open-hearted. And I think that in that moment, it's when you are in the now, you are able to walk someone else's shoes, always from your point of view, let's say, no, but it's from the heart. So the respect, the compassion, the empathy is there because you are there fully for them, no matter what. Because in that moment you are there, no matter what happened to you in the past, no matter what is to you in the front, nothing. You're just connecting heart to heart with someone that in that moment requires it also, and then yeah, uh,
Yeah,
empathy and
I mean,
everything happens, no?
I did mention earlier on that I'm that kind of person who prefers to sit and perhaps observe other people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And one of the major things that I discovered was the fact that people are more drawn to me, you know, as a conversationist. It doesn't make any sense because whenever I'm having a conversation with someone, for instance, you are the one who will probably be saying the most, right? But they still find me very attractive to come and have a conversation with. And
Yes,
that is because of what you just said, right?
yes,
When you are in the now, right? When you are in the present moment and you are just actively listening, right, to other people, when you are trying to understand other people's perspective, right? When you, even if you can't put yourself in other people's shoe, when you make an attempt to do something like that, when you don't judge, right? Because
yes, yes, because
judgment
you,
is another pivotal thing that comes into having a conversation or trying to be in the now. People try to judge a lot, right? So
yeah,
when you don't do all those things and just let go and be in the present moment with the
yes,
person you are trying to maybe have a conversation with, or you are trying to maybe console, right? It goes a long way. And I realized people are more attached to me,
yes,
right? Whenever I show that kind of attitude, and I'm
yes,
not the one who is just, constantly talking and,
yes.
trying to,
Yes, you are
get,
being there. You are
yeah,
being there. And when you are there, when you are there,
mm,
there's a different sensations because you are there. You don't have to say words to be there. You just have to
exactly,
be there in the now, listening, wholehearted, open-hearted, and being there. So that's why people get attracted, because you are, at the end, you are the one supporting, holding, no, the space with your beingness.
mm,
You're listening and listening from the heart, and that it's energy, that's feeling, and that's yeah, that's so beautiful. It's a very nice yeah, well, energy,
yeah,
and energy, a light, no, a light that attracts. Yeah,
that's a beautiful feeling indeed. That's a
yeah,
beautiful.
it's very nice. And that's why
So I have a
the
question.
tell me.
You're saying something.
No, 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 I'm fine, thank you. Tell me a question, tell me.
So, because I do find it fascinating. In fact, I was still telling my friend the other day that I have someone who would like to have a conversation with me, like more or less like a podcast. But I thought to myself, I really don't have a big audience like that, right? I don't regard myself as a thought leader. Why would this person want to have this conversation with me? I just kept wrapping my head around, that question. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I should stop doing that. And if we just have this conversation, and if the time is ripe, I should just ask her
I think so.
because yeah, I just find it fascinating.
Yes, do what you feel in your heart. Don't think. Don't put your. It's what you were saying before. Don't be self-judged. Don't, just be you and enjoy what you love. Do it,
Hmm,
and you will. You are able to share. You're not doing podcast. I don't have until now. There will be more. We will have more audience, but I'm doing this for me and for whom, with whom I'm co-creating, because I really expand every time I'm co-creating, and I'm connecting with beautiful people like you, powerful people like you, and the connection with stays forever. And
hmm.
many of the ones with whom I co-create are friends of me now, and I've met them like I met you. And I stay connected with them. And they're friends from the heart. I love them. I love them
Is one of your
100%.
friends Yogi John?
Yogi John is one of my friends, yes. But you see, so just do it. And you, because you are unique, Akin, you are so unique, you will be serving and being well, you will be serving and being a leader, I was going to say, or thought leader. I'm not a thought leader, I'm being who I am. I don't label myself. You don't know. The only thing I label is, well, true leadership, because I think that every human has limitless potential. And every human can be a true leader instead of looking outside and searching for the gurus to tell them what to do. I think that it's in us, this co-creation, because you, Akin, are a guru for me. I am a guru for you in the way that we are unique, each of us. So you are showing me so many things, and you are showing me so many things, your wisdom. I show you my wisdom. So with whoever you're going to have a podcast, a conversation, you are already sharing your wisdom and your message to them. And they will take in what they will take in, what is for them to take in. But as you have been here sitting with me, you have been explaining me what you do, who you are, what you create, and what you have created. For me, I have taken it in and it has served me. So with whoever you're going to have a conversation and then record and have an episode, it will be helpful. And then another thing is also, you and me are here in the now. Okay? And we are co-creating here in the now. We are connecting heart to heart. We are having a conversation. Okay, I record them, I share them with the permission, no? Because we know we will do that. There's always a way to say, no, I don't want to share it, and it's totally okay. And it will serve someone. It will serve someone. It has served me, it has served you, and it will serve someone. It's out there in the world. And everyone has the choice to listen to it or not.
Mm.
But I believe that with these conversations, we are planting a seed of love, uniqueness, and co-creation. So don't hold back what you have, your power of being. You have a beautiful power of being, and high potential. Don't hold it back because your mind is saying, I don't have followers. No, everyone starts somewhere, and we don't have to have followers. It's just for us to share this, to co-create. And with who you are going to sit down, you are touching their heart. You are touching my heart. So it doesn't matter. We already did. I already served, and I
That's
was
called
already, yes, and I was already nurtured by you. So that's it.
That is beautifully said. Thank you very much, Jeannette.
And I want to see you. I want to see you because I think you have, with what I have been reading and your posts, you're now seeing you, connecting with you. You have a lot of wisdom, and hear your heart. Your heart is saying, share it. So share it. Don't stop. Don't stop because of your mind. Just share it. I will follow it, and I will listen to it. So share it.
Thank you very much, Jeannette.
Thank you, Akin. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And thank you
I
so
mean,
much. Mhm.
on my first podcast, I couldn't have asked for any other person to share this moment with.
I love you.
I couldn't have asked for any other person.
I love you. I
I
thank you.
think you made the rest of my year beautiful. I mean, I've been having a great time, but having this conversation with you just took it to another level. And I'm going to appreciate that because I
Thank you.
know this conversation has planted a seed in me
Yes.
right now. It's a seed of self-confidence because I was unsure, before coming on. A seed of self-discipline. It's a seed of self-assurance,
Mm-hmm.
because I did make mention that I usually have this limiting belief that I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it also boiled down to the fact that whatever I share will not be good enough, right? And I had to start, breaking that limiting belief,
Yeah.
and the fear is always going to be there, I think. But the
Yeah.
fact that I've been able to do what I'm supposed to do despite the fear is what, led to this conversation we are having today, right?
Yes.
And having this validation from you is very encouraging.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
It's very encouraging.
Thank you. And it's not my validation. It's that you are
Mm,
listening to yourself and you are the one saying yes, not me. It doesn't matter what I say, but you are
mm,
listening to yourself and you have seen this conversation, how it has flown and what you have said and how you have expressed it and how I'm co-creating with you in your sharing. So this is what you're saying yes to, not because I said yes. And I see you, I see your limitless potential, and I know you can do it for sure. But I know you saw it in yourself. So take that one. Take that one. Yeah.
Thank you,
You.
Jeannette.
Thank you so much, Akin. And I hope we have in the future we have more co-creations.
We
And
definitely will.
yes, and also to be in your podcast.
I'll be
Huh?
looking forward to
Yes.
that. I'll be
Thank you
looking
so
forward to
much.
that.
Love you.
Thank you, Jeannette.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care of yourself.